Too much news, not enough time. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, June 11th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. There is a lot going on. We are in the pre-E3 phase of craze of everything, so I'm going to jump right in and start talking about some of the festivities that are happening this week. Big thing happening this week was Summer Game Fest, hosted by Jeff Keighley. He had 4 hours of content, or at least 2 hours of content, followed by the Day of the Devs, which was hosted by Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. But for those 2 hours where Jeff Keighley was leading it, much like One Night Live he does for Gamescom, or he did for Gamescom last year, much like he does for the Game Awards, it was just jam-packed full of like world premieres. He had special guests. I'm going to run through some of the big things that I wanted to talk about, but there was like 40 games in all. So I'm not going to cover them all, but if I forgot any that you thought were really cool, feel free to leave a comment down below and tell me what I forgot and why you like it. The show started off with Wonderlands. It was actually Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so it's the next game from Gearbox coming out in 2022. And it's not a Borderlands game, even though it has Tiny Tina's in front of it. It's definitely like a fantasy game, so I'm wondering if it's actually going to be set in the Bunkers and Badass like universe or whatever that is in the Borderlands universe. So I think you're going to get familiar characters and familiar voices, but it is definitely a fantasy game. It's going to have magic. I think this is what they talked about. It's got a bunch of characters that you know and love, and hopefully some new ones. It'll have a character creator, which is kind of new and unique for like, again, it's not a Borderlands game, but for a Borderlands game. So very excited about that. I love, much like everybody else, I loved the Tiny Tina DLC from Borderlands 2. So looking to see kind of what their take on it is. And I definitely think there's a market there, as we've seen with potentially Godfall and a couple other like fantasy looter games. It's going to be something very interesting. So looking forward to seeing more on what Wonderlands is all about. There's an IP I haven't seen in quite some times, not since the ye old arcades of old. We got a Metal Slug game, a new Metal Slug game coming out, and it is a turn-based strategy game. So I'm right there. I love my turn-based strategies like XCOM. I love the Metal Slug aesthetic. So much like every arcade gamer out there, I definitely am looking forward to some more Metal Slug content. Of course, Among Us is there. I think Jeff Keighley's probably got a pretty good relationship with Inner Sloth. They've been at everything that he's posted. So Among Us was there. Talking about new modes, like a hide and seek mode. They're adding a new map, but they had very little to show. They're adding more colors because I think they are upgrading to like a 15-person game modes. So all very interesting stuff. Love to see more Among Us. In fact, there is even the Jeff Keighley mask that if you watch the show live, you got like a code to link your Among Us account to your Twitch account, and you got the Jeff Keighley mask. I didn't figure it out, but hopefully I can unlock that. Smite is also getting a Stranger Things crossover, which I thought was very interesting. They have done many crossovers before. I think they've done a TMNT one. They've done an Avatar: The Last Airbender one. So Smite is really working on kind of branching out and getting as many of those big partnerships as they can. And Netflix, like we've said in the past, is trying to get into the game space. So it's really interesting to see Stranger Things kind of broaden out and be in a bunch of kind of nerdy content. In fact, unrelated, I saw like Stranger Things, like Magic cards are coming out. So they really are branching out and trying to get more into the gaming space and be a little bit less controlling over their IP and letting other people use it. So very interesting to see, and I'm really excited to kind of see more about that. There's a new Vampire the Masquerade game coming out, and it isn't Bloodlines 2. This one was called Blood Hunt, and I believe it's going to be a battle royale game, which could be interesting. There's a lot of diverse powers in the Vampire the Masquerade universe that you can get control over. So kind of how you level that up is could be very interesting. I'm very excited to see more Vampire the Masquerade content, even if it isn't Bloodlines 2. Got more on the latest in the dark picture anthology. We got to see a little bit more of what the enemies will look like for House of Ashes, the third installment of the Dark Pictures anthology. I don't remember if this was a confirmed date from this or previously, but it does come out on 10/22, and more news about that date coming up soon. Also, Jeff Keighley got to play Dark Alliance, and he had a good section of like playthrough and gameplay of the Dark Alliance, so that was very interesting to see. I'm very excited for that, and I didn't know it was coming up so soon. I think it comes out in like less than 2 weeks, so looking forward to playing Dark Alliance on 6/22. Looking forward to that. Fall Guys is always looking to get more and more partnerships. I think their costumes probably sell like hotcakes, and every brand that's involved is probably getting big boosts as well. So Nier Automata's 2B is now going to be in Fall Guys, so you can dress your little bean up in your kind of like black skirt and black eye covers and run around and just like you would in any other Fall Guys game, but you can do it dressed up as 2B, and so like that'll fall right in line with the Portal with like Chell and Godzilla and Doom Guy. So plenty of good gaming content and skins in Fall Guys. Got to see a little bit more of the Evil Dead game. This is a game I've been really excited for. I don't think we've seen anything on this since the Game Awards, so this was the next kind of evolution. This one we saw more of what the gameplay was going to be like for Evil Dead. Definitely asymmetrical horror. Really got me thinking about or at least the game it reminded me of was the Friday the 13th game, like the camp game, the asymmetrical horror game that you could play as Jason in the camp, and like just the way the characters moved and the way the killer moved and the way like the players play around. Might be a little bit more combat oriented, but it definitely kind of struck that kind of vibe with me. So anybody who's played Friday the 13th will hopefully know what I'm talking about. But they even had Bruce Campbell doing voiceover for it, so it was definitely groovy. Looking forward to that. And then last but not least, they talked about Elden Ring. I think they skipped on the Game Awards last year, so Jeff Keighley was hoping for a little bit something more there, but he got it this time. They have confirmed Elden Ring is coming out January 21st, 2022. I'm not going to hold them to that because I could see that slipping. Announcing a release date 7-8 months in advance with a somewhat, COVID impact could potentially impact that. But we got to see a good trailer. We got to see a little bit more gameplay. And it's all this Dark Souls that you could ever know and love. So I'm very excited to see kind of more of what's going on with Elden Ring. I can actually already see kind of the George R.R. Martin influence, because I have looked kind of down on Dark Souls' storytelling before, but this one really started off with like a strong narrative talking about what you're going to be doing in the world. So hopefully there's a little bit more of a narrative pull to bring people into Elden Ring. And that's just like 9 or 10 titles or so, the ones that I thought were interesting, the ones I'm looking forward to. But let me know if there's any that I missed that you want to talk about more down in the comments. Woo! E3 is crazy. It's crazy times right now. But we also have video games launching. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart launched today, or launched last night. And we can argue over whether or not this counts as launch window, because that was kind of the promise that Insomnia gave to the PS5 at one of the PS5 events was, hey, Rift Apart's coming out in launch window. So I don't know if this really counts now that it's 8 or 9 months since the console is launched, but the game is getting phenomenally good reviews. It's got an 89 Metacritic last I checked, and I'm somewhat of a bandwagon Ratchet and Clank fan. I've only been playing since the 2016 version with the movie tie-in, and I actually enjoyed that one, which also got a pretty good Metacritic score if I remember correctly. But this one looks really good. I'm excited to see kind of the PlayStation 5 upgrades. How it's utilizing how it's utilizing the hardware, how it's utilizing the DualSense controller. So I'm very much looking forward to playing Ratchet and Clank sometime soon. Great. Whew, if there wasn't enough, Fortnite also rolled its season over, so we're now into season 7 of Fortnite. They always do kind of a big story trailer. This kind of season's theme is all about alien invasion. So you can get hover ships, and you get laser guns and all that kind of stuff. So very much hitting the alien theme right on the nose. The battle pass, it actually includes some pretty familiar characters. I'm looking forward to playing as either Rick Sanchez or Superman as part of their battle pass. There hasn't been a lot to be able to pull me back into Fortnite, but if there's anything, it is my love of Superman. So definitely looking forward to potentially playing Superman in Fortnite sometime soon. But good luck on their alien themed season. Whew, we also had Battlefield. The next Battlefield game got like a 3-minute trailer this week. They have a confirmed launch date of 10/22/21, so same day as House of Ashes, but I don't know about the competing marketplaces for those anyway. But the next Battlefield 2042, will be launching in October. It's definitely going for that kind of advanced warfare theme, which I say advanced warfare is kind of the blight on the Call of Duty franchise, and I say that knowingly. Knowing the context is, I think sometimes the future shooters are sometimes a little bit harder to play with. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how Battlefield pulls that off. But we'll get more coming out of E3. We'll get more information about Battlefield. So looking forward to seeing what's going on there. We also have, for anybody who doesn't know, we've got the E3 schedule. I'm going to run through it pretty quick. Just starting tomorrow with Ubisoft at 12 p.m. Pacific, followed by Gearbox at 5 p.m. Pacific. On Sunday's the big day for E3. That starts off with the Xbox and Bethesda conference at 10 a.m. Pacific, as well as Square's after that at 12 p.m. WB's doing a short half an hour long conference at 2 p.m. Pacific, followed by the PC Gaming Show at 2:30 and the Future Game Show at 4 p.m. So definitely a lot going on tomorrow, stuff to check out. Monday is Take-Two at 10 a.m. Pacific, followed by the Indie Showcase at noon, and then after that is Capcom at 2:30, and then Razer at 3. I'm actually pretty interested. I might actually sit down and watch the Razer one, just to see kind of what they're doing, because I think Razer is one of my favorite kind of PC gaming brands, peripheral brands right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they're doing and what they're talking about. And then Tuesday's kind of the day 4 wrap up of it all. Starting off with Nintendo and their Treehouse at 9 a.m., followed by Bandai later that day at 2:25 p.m. Pacific. GameSpot is doing a Games for All. I think they've partnered with Able Gamers, and they're doing a really cool charity stream. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. And last but certainly not least, like I talked about last week, E3 is doing its own award show. So I think they're going to be giving out awards for most anticipated or game of the show. Should be pretty interesting. They used to do this at the booths. Games would get kind of most anticipated and game of the show, but that wasn't really like public facing. That was more just like for the booth vendors and stuff like that. So hopefully they make it a little bit more public and turn it more into a kind of a big event, because I do love kind of the game awards and kind of award shows and gaming. So two things I would love, but hopefully they pull it off. I'm looking forward to that. Woo! There's the E3 schedule. Ahead of E3, Xbox did have a meeting this week with kind of the heads of Xbox, talking about kind of their future visions and developing a roadmap. They're talking about bringing xCloud and bringing it to, working with partners like TV manufacturers, bringing xCloud to phones, having its own device. So, I know we all think of Google Stadia crashing and burning, but I could definitely see a future where we have a device that we just plug in, and then that gives you access to the game cloud. They're still they said all that, but they are still confirming that they are going to continue to work on hardware. So that's not shutting down anytime soon. But I could definitely see a future where I just hit the Xbox button on my Samsung TV and it brings up Game Pass and I'm able to play that. I already have an Xbox controller. I just have to be able to plug it in and link it that way. So I can Xbox again. This is their move. This is what they've been planning. This is kind of the future they've been planning for. I think it'll do better than Stadia did, just because Xbox has a little bit more first-party content, more skin in the game, and Microsoft definitely has a lot of those kind of big partnerships that they can work with. So yeah, I don't know how it's going to work on iOS, considering Apple is pretty territorial about their service, but I could definitely see it on phones sometime in the future as well. So looking forward to seeing what's coming out for Xbox and the best deal in gaming, Game Pass. Tom Clancy, name we all know and love. I assume we'll get more information at potentially at the Ubisoft Forward, but there was rumors spun up this week, and the games industry is nothing but a giant pile of rumors, that there is a kind of like mashup of Tom Clancy IP. So Splinter Cell, The Division, Ghost Recon are all kind of mashing up together into what potentially sounds like a battle royale game, or like competing factions. We don't quite know what's going on there, but they're kind of trying to put all of the Tom Clancy stuff into a blender and blend it all together and kind of see what game comes out of that. So looking forward to seeing a little bit more about what the heck that is. But again, because this is rumors, I don't know that this is going to be talked about in the upcoming Ubisoft Forward. But especially since The Division, Ubisoft earlier in the week said that they won't be talking about The Division during their Forward or during E3 at all. So I don't know that we'll see more of that in the coming days of E3. So, but still interested to see kind of how this shakes out. Yeah, I think there could be a little bit something there with kind of competing factions. The Tom Clancy games are always based on like faction on faction, and Division's got a bunch of factions. Ghost Recon, with Wildlands and all that kind of stuff. You can see kind of a territorial type game. Yeah, I don't quite know what it's going to be. This is all rumors and speculation, but interesting stuff coming out ahead of E3. Moving off of E3 for just a second, Epic Games, the Epic Games Store, the only reason I have an Epic Game browser is so that I can get free games. And the free game this week is Control, which I have played and talked about on my video game review show with my friends called The Friend Zone. Control is a really good game. Remedy's latest game is really great. So you can pick that up for free with Epic Game Store, which, again, like I said, the only reason I have an Epic Game browser is because they give out a lot of free games and it's really cool. So go in and download that for free this week. Again, still a little bit away from E3, but Loki came out this week, and Disney Plus and Disney are doing a partnership. Still on brand. I've talked about how I need a partnership or weird brand integration in the past. This one was pretty fun. Disney partnered up with Lucky Charms to give us Loki charms. And as someone who's watched the first episode, no spoilers, but it is pretty good. And I am excited about more episodes of Loki, especially since it comes out on Wednesdays as opposed to Fridays. I feel like Fridays was just like spoiler day. Hopefully Wednesdays at least gives people enough time to like go into the weekend and potentially watch it during the week, and then not get it spoiled for them right before the weekend or something like that. So looking forward to eating some Loki charms and watching Loki in the coming weeks. Back to E3, Netflix all week has been doing Geeked Week. They've been doing a lot of content around gaming and just general entertainment. So they've been talking about all the IPs that we know and love. And I have a wrap up of just kind of like all the gaming content or the gaming IP that they're working with to make shows for. The first one was like Arcane, the League of Legends 3D animated show that is coming out. They showed off a little bit of Cuphead, the Cuphead show, which has Wayne Brady voicing the devil or Dice Man. So should be really fun. I got a kick out of that trailer. There's also a Splinter Cell TV show that's coming out There's a Witcher convention that's also coming out, but no confirmed date for when season 2 of The Witcher is coming out. There's a live action Resident Evil TV show with Lance Reddick, your friend, your good friend Zavala from Destiny, who will be playing as Wesker, which should be really great. He can do very intimidating. I've watched a couple of his Twitter or TikTok videos, and he can do creepy and scary and like gross and like into your head, kind of almost Giancarlo Esposito, kind of like cold and like deep voice. Like, yeah, I can't wait to see more about with Lance Reddick in this new Resident Evil TV live action TV series. And then there's also 2 Far Cry TV shows that are coming out. I think one's animated, and I'm not quite sure about the other one or if they're both animated. But lots of Netflix content and gaming IP. Like I said, they're really invested in gaming IP. So looking forward to seeing what Netflix is doing and what other gaming shows that they've been working on. I don't know that even covers all the ones that I can think of, but I can't think of any right now because my head's so full of E3. But if that wasn't enough, then I don't know what is. That was my quick rundown of the news this week. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super E3. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!